Hey everybody, it's Kris at Oak Street Garden Shop in Birmingham, sunny Birmingham, Alabama. You would never know we'd be able to stand out here on a day like today after the cold temperatures we had a few weeks ago. Mother Nature gave us a kind of a nasty Christmas present at 10 degrees. So I wanted to show you the sign planter here and explain what I did here, what we need to do now, and then talk to you a little bit about what's going on in your landscapes around town here in Birmingham and in the South after those really extreme temperatures we just went through. So if you remember, there was a video a while back where I planted this area, and it was coming along beautifully. It was looking great. The peacock kale here was beautiful. The little violas were all blooming, and then we got the temperature forecast. So I tried to think about what the heck I could do to protect this planting. You can see it's just a raised planter in the middle of the parking lot, not any protection. And it turned out that it was right after Christmas, and we had a lot of wreaths left over. So being a Midwestern girl, you know, up there, they use evergreen boughs to protect plantings. So I took the evergreen wreaths and I piled them up all on top of this planter. They were probably this tall and mounded to the front and all the way, you know, all the way up and all the way over. So actually it worked out pretty well. I came in the last kind of cold day and took them all off. I had one tiny little California poppy that I'd been watching that had seeded itself in the little bricks here. Well, it's toast, it's gone. But most of this, you know, it came through okay. The bachelor buttons right here, they are, you know, this one's still green. I had 3 in here. This one fared the worst. But you know what? It's still viable. I'm going to come in here and just cut off some of that dead on top, and they'll be fine. The pansies, the violas, they look okay. Look at that green right there. They are perfectly fine. The bull's blood beet, it came through okay. The peacock kale, you know, I'm gonna just keep an eye on that. I may end up pulling that out. This particular kale right here, right on this end, I don't know if it was because it was, you know, where it was or what, but this guy's gone. So we're just gonna get rid of that. And you know, I've got some new things that have come in. I'm gonna walk you through and show you that in just a second. And look at this. I put some bulbs in here, and our bulbs are starting to come up. You know, things come up no matter what. So, you know, having lost just that little bit in here, and I think, Harry, look at this right here. This is probably what a lot of people's stuff looks like in the ground. This corner, maybe I didn't get it covered enough, but it's kind of got some bad leaves there. That just needs to be, I don't know, I'm just gonna leave that, let it firm it in a little bit, probably put a little mulch around it, and then I'll be sure and keep this sign planter watered well when we don't have rain. But you know, not too bad for what we went through. That cabbage, that red cabbage, look at that, not bad, not bad. So it just goes to show you can protect things if you do the right thing. You know, sometimes things will work out, and if not, if you didn't, don't beat yourself up. It is okay. You know, if your plantings suffered in the ground, go ahead though, look at, if you've got pansies in the ground, take a look at them closely. See if you spot any green down there in the crown of the plant, because you might be okay. Pots, I think we've lost, you know, I think all of you, I don't know if you protected them enough. You'll know if you did. You know, you'll have green plants and they'll look terrible, but look like they're gonna come back. And like I said, if not, I'm gonna walk you through and show you some things we've got now. I'm gonna take a little break from this, and I wanna show you how you can tell if your landscape plantings are hopefully going to make it. One big message that I have for you is not to cut anything back at this point. So let's take a look. I'm going to take you over to Dyron's restaurant next door where we have a loropetalum in a pot. I'm going to take you across the street to our garden and take a look at the Texas sage there, and I'm going to show you a really sorry rosemary that honestly I don't think is coming back. So we'll take a little break and we'll go over there. Okay, so this right here, this Texas sage, leucophyllum, is a plant, a shrub that has been in our pollinator garden for a number of years now. It has sailed through the winters with no problem. Some winters I've been a little surprised because it's a plant that I think maybe is just right on the edge of its hardiness zone. But the cold snap that we just went through shows this is representational, I think, of what a lot of your plants look like in your garden. There are tea olives, gardenias, camellias, distilium, lots of things that have suffered some damage from the cold. Now, the main thing, and I mentioned it before, is to not prune anything back. I'm not going to touch this. I mean, these look dead, and you know, normally you think, oh well, you got to cut that back. No, you don't want to do any pruning now. We are in January. Even in the south, when you think, oh, it's it's not going to be that cold, we are going to get some more cold snaps. You don't want to be pruning, not quite knowing whether the wood is dead or alive yet. And I'll show you the scratch test in a minute where you can tell. But basically right now, it's a wait and see game. We're not going to know how things are coming out until March, April. And at that point, you can go ahead and clean things up, cut things back. But right now, give yourself a break. Just give yourself a break, take it easy, and just wait and see. I will show you, and Harry, let's see if I can take my thumbnail. You see that? You see where I've scratched that? And it's green? Can you see it right there? That shows that stem, that's still alive, even though it looks just horrendous. Now let's try this one right here. Yeah, that still is too. So, it may look really, really bad, but it may really be maybe okay. But if you cut it now and then we get another freeze, that's not going to be good for this plant. So we're going to sit tight. We're going to hope for the best. And hopefully next year it'll be up and beautiful. We may cut it back a little bit in the spring, but I'll wait till March, April to do anything with it. So let's look at the planter across the street at Dyron's restaurant and see what's going on with that. So here we are, and this planter, and you see it is a planter in front of Dyron's that we had a loropetalum standard in. The loropetalum, again, we do the scratch test, and yes, you see that it is green, even though this plant looks mighty bad. I think a lot of you in the Birmingham area, I know on my way to work, I see a lot of loropetalum shrubs in the landscape, and they are, the leaves look like this. Looks like a blowtorch hit it, it's burned up. Again, we're gonna sit tight. I think the plant is fine, and this is, really, really wonderful because this one's in a planter. Now, I will say, because this is outside of a restaurant, this isn't the prettiest thing to look at when you're going out to eat. So we'll pull this out, we'll put it in another pot and let it recover away from the restaurant. But anyway, not bad news here. So let's go on and look at Dyron's tubs. And I've already pulled out the mushy kale and cabbage that was in here. You can see where the holes are that I pulled them out. And okay. So those pansies, that looks really horrendous, right? But you might have something at home that looks more like this. And honestly, if you kind of clean up all that mush in there, and what I would do then is go ahead and get some mulch around this, and I am going to replant this with fresh pansies and things, but I'm going to leave this little guy in here because, for goodness sake, he survived 10 degrees, and you got to get some reward for that. This right next to it looks like it's completely gone. Oh, but look at that. Look at that. There's green right there. Good deal. So, taking off this damaged tissue is also going to keep pathogens from entering that good green stuff right there. Good deal. That's not bad. I hope your plantings look like that in the ground. Hopefully they do. So let's move on and let's take a look at the rosemary that is in the sidewalk garden right here. This rosemary I planted, it was a 6-inch pot, about that big, many, many years ago. It's gone through an awful lot of winters. I do not have a good feeling about this rosemary. I have one at my house too, right out by my mailbox, and I don't have a good feeling about it either. But I'm gonna take my own advice. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna do any cutting back. But I have already done a kind of a scratch test on this guy, and it's not good. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to even scratch it, honestly. So I don't know. But maybe the root system has survived. You never know. I think it's worth waiting for. I'm not gonna pull it out. I'm definitely not gonna cut it back. And we'll just see what happens. Again, we're in the Birmingham area. Looking at some things here. I mean, the yucca, perfectly fine, amazingly. And the aspidistra, I've got aspidistra at my house, tough as nails plant. Come spring, March, April, we'll be cutting back all these damaged leaves, and there'll be more damaged leaves because we're gonna get more freezes. I mean, we're in January here. So, like I said again before, watch the weather, keep an eye on your plants, but on something like the Texas sage, the rosemary, some of your big shrubs, sit tight, be patient. Nature is resilient. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.